The great station called Nexus Prime floated in the dark space between stars. It was bigger than most planets, made of silver metal that shined like a mirror. Inside its huge halls, the most powerful beings in the galaxy were gathering for an emergency meeting. Ambassador Zethkar walked through the long corridors with angry steps. His forearms moved quickly as he practiced his speech. His blue skin was darker than usual, which meant he was very upset. Behind him, 3 other members of his species followed quietly. They all wore the red uniforms of the hegemony, the strongest empire in the galaxy. The meeting hall was enormous. 12 different species had sent their best representatives. Each group sat in a special area made for their kind. The Velthari needed pools of green liquid to breathe. The Korthax hung from the ceiling on metal bars. The Zephyrians floated in glass boxes filled with gas. All of them were waiting to hear what Zethkar had to say. Council Speaker Veltara sat in the center of the hall. She was very old, even by the standards of her crystal people. Her body was made of living rock that glowed with soft purple light. She had been the council speaker for over 300 years. Everyone respected her wisdom. The emergency session of the Galactic Council will now begin, Veltara announced. Her voice sounded like music made from breaking glass. Ambassador Zethkar of the hegemony has requested this meeting. He says there is a serious threat to galactic peace. Zethkar stood up and walked to the center of the hall. His forearms spread wide as he began to speak. Honored council members, I bring terrible news. The hegemony has suffered an attack by a primitive species from a small world called Earth. A few council members made sounds of surprise. The Kethlani representative, a creature that looked like a giant insect, clicked his mandibles. An attack? What kind of weapons did they use? That is the most shocking part, Zethkar replied. He pressed a button on his wrist device. Suddenly the air above the council filled with moving pictures. They showed space battles, explosions, and strange-looking ships. These are the humans, Zethkar said with disgust. They are a young species that has barely learned to leave their planet. They have no faster-than-light travel. No energy shields, no plasma weapons. They still use chemical rockets and nuclear bombs. The pictures showed human ships that looked crude and ugly compared to the sleek hegemony vessels. The human ships were made of metal and covered with strange markings. They had no graceful curves or artistic designs. They looked like tools built only for fighting. 3 weeks ago, our exploration fleet arrived at their solar system, Zethkar continued. It was a routine survey mission. We wanted to study their world and maybe make contact. Our ships were peaceful. They carried no weapons except for basic defense systems. The pictures changed to show the first meeting between humans and the hegemony. The alien ships were beautiful and silver, hanging in space like jewels. They sent peaceful messages in many languages, but the human response was not what anyone expected. The humans attacked without warning, Zethkar said, his voice getting louder. They used nuclear weapons against our ships. Nuclear weapons like savage primitives. They showed no interest in peaceful contact. They only wanted to destroy. The council members watched in shock as the pictures showed human missiles hitting hegemony ships. The explosions were crude but effective. Several alien vessels were damaged or destroyed. But that was not the worst part, Zethkar said. When our ships were damaged, the humans did something unthinkable. They boarded our vessels. The pictures now showed humans in bulky spacesuits floating toward the damaged hegemony ships. They carried primitive weapons that shot small pieces of metal. Their movements were clumsy compared to the graceful hegemony soldiers. They fought in the vacuum of space, Zethkar said with horror, without proper life support. Some of them died from the cold and lack of air, but they kept fighting. They acted like wild animals, not civilized beings. Commander Yextal, one of the few hegemony officers who survived the attack, stood up to speak. He was wounded, with bandages covering 2 of his arms. The humans fight differently from any species we have encountered. They do not follow the rules of civilized warfare. They use tactics that are disturbing What kind of tactics? Asked Representative Morthuk of the Trilaxian Union. They hide behind cover and attack from unexpected angles. They use parts of their own ships as weapons. When they are wounded, they continue fighting until they die. We captured several of them, but they would not surrender properly. They kept trying to escape or attack their guards. The crystal being Veltara made a sound like wind chimes. This is concerning. But surely a primitive species cannot be a real threat to the hegemony. Your fleet was only a survey mission, not a war fleet. That is true, Zethkar admitted. But we sent 2 more fleets to deal with the problem. Both were destroyed. The humans somehow learned from each battle. They improved their tactics and weapons. They even began using our own technology against. This caused an uproar in the council. Representatives from different species began talking loudly in their own languages. The idea of primitives learning to use advanced technology so quickly was almost impossible to believe. Order! Order! Veltara called out. Her voice became louder and more musical, filling the entire hall. Let Ambassador Zethkar finish his report. The humans captured several of our ships, Zethkar continued. Within days, they had learned to use our computers and weapons. They began to understand our language and technology. It should have taken them decades or centuries, but they did it in less than a week. The pictures showed human soldiers inside hegemony ships, touching alien controls and somehow making them work. They moved with purpose and intelligence, not like the primitives everyone expected. The most disturbing part is their unity, Zethkar said. Our intelligence reports show that humans are usually divided into many different groups. They fight wars among themselves constantly. But when we arrived, they immediately stopped fighting each other and worked together against us. Representative Kilanara of the Peaceful Collective spoke up. Perhaps they were simply defending their home. Many species become aggressive when threatened. No, Zethkar shook his head. This was different. They did not just defend, they organized. They planned. They turned their entire world into a military base in just days. Every human, from their leaders to their children, participated in the fight against us. The pictures showed human cities where normal people were building weapons and military equipment. Factories that once made peaceful goods were now producing missiles and armor. Schools were training children to fight. It was a level of organization that impressed even the council members. They also showed no mercy, Commander Yextel added. When they captured our soldiers, they did not treat them according to galactic law. They asked questions and demanded information. Some of our people were forced to help them understand our technology. This is a clear violation of civilized conduct, declared Representative Haskell of the Merchant Federation. No species should be allowed to act this way toward peaceful explorers. Exactly, Zethkar agreed. The humans have shown that they are a violent, aggressive species that cannot be trusted. They attack without provocation. They refuse to follow the rules of warfare. They are a danger to galactic peace. The council members began to discuss the situation among themselves. Some were worried about the humans' behavior. Others thought the threat was exaggerated. But all of them agreed that something needed to be done. What does the hegemony propose? Asked Veltara. We request permission to launch a full military campaign against the human homeworld, Zethkar said formally. Not just to punish them for their attacks, but to prevent them from becoming a greater threat. If they can learn our technology so quickly, they might eventually become dangerous to other species as well. A full military campaign? Representative Morthuk seemed surprised. Against one primitive world? The humans have shown they are more dangerous than they appear, Zethkar replied. But they are still primitives. A proper military fleet will end this quickly and show the galaxy that attacks on peaceful species will not be tolerated. The discussion continued for hours. Some council members wanted to try peaceful contact first. Others supported the hegemony's request for military action. A few suggested that the humans might be worth studying rather than destroying, but in the end, the evidence was clear. The humans had attacked first. They had killed peaceful explorers. They had stolen technology and refused to follow civilized rules. According to galactic law, they had committed acts of war. The vote will now be taken, Veltara announced. All in favor of authorizing the hegemony to take military action against the human species? One by one, the representatives voted. The Velthari voted yes. The Korthax voted yes. The Zephyrians voted yes. Each species agreed that the humans needed to be stopped. The vote is unanimous, Veltara declared. The Galactic Council hereby authorizes the hegemony to take whatever military action is necessary to deal with the human threat. You have our full support. Zethkar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Thank you, honored Council. The hegemony will not forget this support. We will deal with the humans quickly and efficiently. This primitive species will learn that there are consequences for attacking civilized beings. As the council meeting ended, representatives from 12 species returned to their ships. They would carry news of the decision back to their home worlds. Most of them expected to hear soon that the human problem had been solved. None of them realized they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. The humans were not just primitive fighters. They were something the galaxy had never seen before, and they were about to show the universe what happened when you threatened their home. Commander Thexlon stood on the bridge of his flagship, the massive vessel called Eternal Victory. Through the huge windows, he could see the greatest military force in hegemony history. 700 warships floated in perfect formation around him. Each ship was the size of a small moon, covered in weapons and armor that could destroy entire planets. The commander was tall, even for his species. His 6 arms moved smoothly as he studied the tactical displays. His pale green skin showed the dark markings that meant he was from a noble family. He had fought in 12 major wars and never lost a single battle. The hegemony leaders had chosen him personally to lead this mission. Status report, Thexlon commanded. His voice was deep and calm. A good commander never showed fear or doubt, even when facing the unknown. First Officer Kethrin approached with quick steps. She was younger than the commander, with bright green skin and only 4 arms. But she was smart and loyal, which made her valuable. All ships are ready, Commander. We have 700 capital ships, 3,000 escort vessels, and transport ships carrying 3 million soldiers. What about our intelligence on the target? Thexlon asked. The human homeworld is called Earth, Kethrin replied, reading from her datapad. It is the 3rd planet from a yellow star they call Sol. The planet has large oceans and several continents. The human population is approximately 8 billion, Thexlon nodded. 8 billion was a large number, but not impossible to manage. The hegemony had conquered worlds with more people. What about their technology? He asked. Very primitive, Commander. They still use chemical rockets to reach space. Their fastest ships take months to travel between planets in their own system. They have no faster-than-light travel, no energy shields, and no plasma weapons. Their most advanced weapons are nuclear bombs and simple lasers. And their military strength? Divided into many small groups, Kethrin said with amusement. They have hundreds of different nations that compete with each other. Their largest military has maybe 2 million soldiers. Most of them fight on the ground with primitive weapons. They cannot even unite their own species, Thexlon observed. How can they hope to fight us? Behind them, other officers were preparing. For the invasion? Lieutenant Vexton was studying maps of Earth's surface. Major Kelthara was organizing the ground troops. Captain Mordash was checking the weapon systems. All of them were experienced soldiers who had conquered many worlds. Sir, Lieutenant Vexton called out, I have finished studying the target planet. The humans have built many cities, but they are poorly defended. Most of their military bases are on the surface where our ships can easily destroy them. What about their space defenses? Thexlon asked. Almost nothing, Vexton replied. They have a few small stations in orbit around their planet, some communication satellites, a few primitive weapons platforms. Nothing that could threaten even our smallest ships. Major Kelthara stepped forward. Commander, my ground forces are ready. We have 3 million elite soldiers with the best weapons and armor. Each of my soldiers is worth 100 primitive humans. We could conquer their world with just 1% of our force. Excellent, Vexlon said. But we will use our full strength. This is not just about conquest. This is about sending a message to the galaxy. Any species that attacks the hegemony will face total destruction. Captain Mordish spoke up from his weapons station. Our firepower is overwhelming, Commander. Each capital ship can destroy a human city with one shot. We could eliminate their entire civilization in less than an hour if we wanted to. We will not need to do that, Vexlon replied. The humans will surrender when they see our strength. All primitive species do. They are not stupid enough to fight a war they cannot win. The fleet began to move toward the Sol system. The ships traveled faster than light, crossing distances that would take human vessels thousands of years. The journey would take only 3 days. During the journey, Vexlon studied everything about humans. He read reports from the survey missions that had been attacked. He watched recordings of human behavior. He tried to understand how these primitives thought. The humans were young as a species. They had only developed technology recently. They were still learning to work together. They fought wars among themselves over resources and territory. They were emotional and unpredictable. All of these things made them weak in Vexlon's opinion. Commander, Catherine said on the second day, I have been studying the human attacks on our survey fleets. Something troubles me. What is it? Vexlon asked. The humans adapted very quickly to our technology. When they captured our ships, they learned to use our systems within days. That seems unusual for a primitive species. Vexlon waved one of his arms dismissively. Primitive species can sometimes copy advanced technology, but copying is not the same as understanding. They might learn to use our weapons, but they cannot improve them or create new ones. Yes, Commander. But they also showed unusual coordination. For a species that fights among itself, they work together very well against our forces. Fear, Vexlon explained. When faced with a superior enemy, even divided species will temporarily unite. It is a basic survival instinct. Once we demonstrate our overwhelming power, their unity will collapse. On the third day, the fleet reached the edge of the Sol system. Long-range sensors immediately began scanning the human homeworld and its surroundings. What they found was both expected and puzzling. Report, Vexlon ordered. The system is as our intelligence described, reported Sensor Officer Helenara. 1 yellow star, 8 planets, various moons and asteroids. The third planet shows signs of heavy industrial activity. And the humans' response to our arrival? They are active, Commander. We detect massive movement of ships and personnel. They appear to be abandoning their space stations and moving everything to the planet's surface. Vexlon nodded. They are retreating to their stronghold. A predictable response from a primitive species. There's something else, Helenara continued. We detect construction activity around the planet. They are building new structures in orbit. The construction appears to be military in nature. What kind of military structures? Weapons platforms, defensive satellites, shield generators. They are working very quickly, Commander. Faster than our projections suggested they could? First Officer Catherine looked concerned. How can they build so fast? Our intelligence said they needed months to construct major military installations. They are probably using simple, crude designs, Vexlon said. Quantity over quality. It will not matter. Our weapons can destroy anything they build. The fleet moved deeper into the system. As they approached Earth, they could see the human planet more clearly. It was a blue and green world covered with clouds. Beautiful in its own primitive way. Soon it would be under hegemony control. Commander, called Communications Officer. Zilandra, we are receiving transmissions from the human world. They are trying to communicate with us. Put it through, Vexlon ordered. The bridge filled with the sound of human voices speaking in their primitive language. The translation computers worked quickly to convert the words into hegemony standard. Unknown vessels, this is Earth Defense Command. You are approaching our home system without permission. State your intentions immediately. Vexlon smiled, showing his sharp teeth. They think they can give us orders? Open a channel. The communication link opened. Vexlon spoke clearly and slowly as if talking to children. Humans of Earth, I am Commander Vexlon of the Hegemony 4th Fleet. You have committed acts of war against our people. You have attacked our ships and killed our soldiers. We are here to accept your surrender and bring you to justice. The response came quickly. This is Admiral Chun of the United Earth Defense Force. We defended ourselves against unprovoked attacks. Your people entered our system without permission and threatened our world. We will not surrender. Leave our system immediately or face the consequences. The entire bridge crew began laughing. The idea of humans threatening the mighty hegemony fleet was absurd. Even First Officer Catherine, who had been worried about human adaptability, smiled at the bold words. Admiral Chun, Vexlon said with amusement, you have 8 billion people on your world. I have 3 million soldiers and 700 warships. Each of my ships could destroy your largest city. Do you really think you can fight us? We know the odds, Admiral Chun replied. His voice was calm and steady. We've been preparing for this moment since your first ships arrived. You want to see what humans can do when we're threatened? You're about to find out. You have 30 minutes to surrender, Vexlon announced. After that, we will begin the assault. Your world will be conquered and your people will serve the hegemony. Resistance will only make your punishment worse. The communication ended. Vexlon turned to his officers. Begin moving the fleet into attack position. Target their orbital installations first. Once their defenses are destroyed, we will land. Our troops? Yes, Commander, several officers replied. As the fleet moved closer to Earth, the sensors detected more human activity. Ships were moving between the planet and its moon. Construction was accelerating. The humans were definitely preparing for war. They are brave, Lieutenant Vexton observed. Foolish but brave. Bravery without wisdom is worthless, Vexlon replied. They will learn that lesson today. The 30 minutes passed quickly. During that time, the hegemony fleet arranged itself in perfect battle formation. Each ship knew its target and its role. The plan was simple: destroy the human defenses, land the troops, and accept their surrender. Time is up, Vexlon announced. Begin the assault. The first wave of energy beams lanced out from the hegemony ships. Bright blue light crossed the space between the fleet and Earth's defenses. The weapons were precise and powerful, designed to destroy targets cleanly and efficiently. The beams hit their targets. Human satellites and space stations exploded in brilliant flashes. Defensive platforms were vaporized instantly. The humans' primitive technology stood no chance against advanced hegemony weapons. First wave successful, reported Weapons Officer Mordash. All targeted installations destroyed. Excellent, Vexlon said. Begin the second wave. Target their remaining orbital assets. But something unexpected happened. As the second wave of weapons fire reached Earth's orbit, some of the human installations did not die cleanly. Instead, they exploded in massive nuclear fireballs that lit up the darkness of space. What was that? Catherine asked. Nuclear self-destruct systems, Sensor Officer Helenara reported. The humans rigged their stations to explode when destroyed. Primitive but effective, Vexlon admitted. Continue the assault. The battle continued for several hours. The hegemony ships systematically destroyed every human installation they could find. But each victory came with a price. The humans had turned every satellite, every platform, every piece of space debris into a potential weapon. Commander, Major Kelthara called out, we are detecting movement on the planet's surface. Large numbers of ships are launching from human spaceports. What kind of ships? Primitive vessels. Chemical rockets mostly, but there are many of them. Hundreds? No, thousands. Vexlon was not concerned. Human rockets were slow and poorly armed. They could not threaten his fleet. Let them come. We will destroy them easily. But as the human ships approached, something strange became clear. Many of them were not trying to fight. Instead, they were moving toward the wreckage of destroyed hegemony vessels. They are scavenging, Thexlon realized. They are trying to salvage our technology from the battle debris. Should we stop them? Catherine asked. Let them try, Thexlon replied. Our technology is far beyond their understanding. They will waste time and resources on things they cannot use. The commander had no way of knowing he had just made his second mistake. The first was underestimating human determination. The second was underestimating human intelligence. As the battle raged above Earth, the humans were already learning. They studied every piece of alien technology they could find. They analyzed every weapon that fired at them. They watched how the hegemony ships moved and fought, and they began to plan their counterattack. The invasion began at exactly 8 o'clock Earth time. Commander Thexlon watched from his flagship as the first wave of landing craft left the hegemony fleet. Thousands of sleek silver ships moved toward Earth's surface, carrying elite soldiers and heavy weapons. This should have been the easy part of the war. The commander expected the humans to surrender quickly once they saw the size of his ground forces. All primitive species did the same thing. They fought briefly, realized they could not win, and then gave up. The hegemony had conquered hundreds of worlds this way, but the humans were different. The first sign of trouble came when the landing craft reached Earth's atmosphere. Major Kilthara's voice crackled over the communication system from the lead transport ship. Commander, we are taking fire from the planet's surface. The humans have anti-aircraft weapons. What kind of weapons? Ixalan asked. Primitive missiles and laser systems. Nothing that can seriously damage our ships, but there are many of them. The entire planet seems to be shooting at us. Thexlon was not worried. Human weapons were too weak to stop hegemony landing craft. Continue the assault. Land your troops as planned? Yes, Commander. The landing craft pushed through the Earth's atmosphere. Human missiles exploded against their shields like harmless fireworks. The ship's armor was designed to withstand much more powerful weapons. The humans were wasting their ammunition. The first landing zone was a large city on the continent the humans called North America. Intelligence reports said it was an important military center. The plan was to capture it quickly and use it as a base for further operations. Major Kilthara's troops landed in perfect formation. 3,000 elite soldiers in advanced armor stepped out of their ships. Each soldier carried weapons that could destroy a human building with one shot. They moved with discipline and confidence. The city around them was strangely quiet. The humans had evacuated most of the civilians, leaving empty streets and abandoned buildings. This was normal behavior for a conquered species. They were hiding and waiting for the fighting to end. Secure the landing zone, Major Kilthara commanded. Establish defensive positions. Prepare for the next wave. The soldiers spread out through the city. They moved carefully but confidently. Their sensors showed no immediate threats. The humans seemed to be retreating deeper into the city. That was when the first soldier died. Private Helkar was walking down a street when a building exploded. The blast was not from a normal weapon. It was from explosives hidden inside the structure itself. The building collapsed on top of him, crushing his armor and killing him instantly. What happened? Major Kilthara demanded. The building was rigged with explosives, Sergeant Morvan reported. The humans booby-trapped it and detonated it when our soldier got close. Scan the other buildings, the major ordered. The results were shocking. Almost every building in the area contained hidden explosives. The humans had turned their own city into a giant trap. Roads were mined. Bridges were set to collapse. Even abandoned cars contained bombs. This is against the rules of civilized warfare, Major Kilthara said with disgust. They are destroying their own property to hurt us. But the booby traps were just the beginning. As the hegemony soldiers advanced deeper into the city, they began taking fire from hidden positions. The humans were not retreating. They were hiding and waiting for the right moment to attack. The human weapons were primitive but effective. They used chemical explosives and metal projectiles instead of advanced energy weapons. But they aimed for weak points in the hegemony. Armor. They attacked from unexpected angles. They used the city's ruins as cover. They are not fighting properly, Sergeant Morvan complained. They hide instead of facing us directly. They attack and then run away. This is not how civilized species fight. They are cowards, another soldier agreed. They are afraid to face us in open battle. But Major Kilthara was beginning to understand that the humans were not cowards. They were smart. They knew they could not win a direct fight against superior technology. So they were fighting a different kind of war. The humans used tactics that the hegemony had never seen before. They would attack a group of soldiers, then disappear into the ruins before the aliens could respond. They would set traps and wait for soldiers to walk into them. They would use the city's own infrastructure against the invaders. Major, Private Yexenol called out. I found something strange. What is it? Human weapons. But they have been modified. They are using pieces of our technology to make them more powerful. Major Kilthara examined the weapon. It was clearly human-made, crude and simple. But attached to it were parts from a hegemony energy rifle. Somehow, the humans had learned to combine their primitive technology with advanced alien systems. How? Is this possible? The Major asked. Our technology is far beyond their understanding. I do not know, Private Yexenol replied. But it works. This weapon could actually damage our armor. The fighting continued for hours. The hegemony soldiers were supposed to capture the city quickly and move on to the next target. Instead, they were trapped in brutal street fighting. With an enemy that refused to fight fairly, the humans used every advantage they could find. They knew the city better than the invaders. They could move through tunnels and sewers that the aliens did not know existed. They could call in support from other parts of the city. Major, Sergeant Morvan reported, we have lost 30 soldiers. The humans are using our own weapons against us. How are they getting our weapons? They are taking them from fallen soldiers. But that is not the worst part. They are learning to use them within minutes. Some of them are better shots than our own troops. This was impossible. Advanced hegemony weapons required years of training to use properly. The controls were complex and the systems were designed for alien physiology. Humans should not be able to use them at all, but the evidence was clear. Human soldiers were carrying hegemony energy rifles. They were using alien grenades and communication devices. They were even wearing pieces of hegemony armor. They are adapting, Major Kelthara realized. They are learning from us. Back on the flagship, Commander Thexlon was receiving similar reports from all the landing zones. The invasion was not going as planned. The humans were fighting harder and smarter than expected. Commander, First Officer Ketharin reported, Major Veltros reports that his landing zone is completely surrounded. The humans are using captured vehicles and weapons to attack his forces. What about Major Zekan's group? They have secured their primary target, but they are taking heavy casualties. The humans are using guerrilla tactics. They attack and retreat, attack and retreat. Our soldiers cannot get a clear shot at them. Thexlon studied the tactical displays. The invasion was supposed to be over by now. Instead, his forces were stuck in dozens of small battles across the planet. The humans were not surrendering. They were not even retreating properly. What about their casualties? Thexlon asked. Higher than ours, Ketharin replied. But they do not seem to care. They keep fighting even when they are wounded. We have reports of humans continuing to fight with injuries that should have killed them. This was disturbing news. Civilized species valued life and avoided unnecessary deaths. When the casualties became too high, they surrendered to save their people. But the humans seemed willing to die rather than give up. Send reinforcements to all landing zones, Thexlon ordered. Double the size of each assault force, yes, Commander. But even with reinforcements, the situation did not improve. The humans had turned their entire planet into a battlefield. Every city, every town, every building was a potential fortress. The people who should have been helpless civilians were making weapons and fighting. Alongside their soldiers, Lieutenant Vexton was leading a squad through a human town when they encountered something that shocked them. A group of young humans, barely adults, were attacking hegemony soldiers with improvised weapons. They had built bombs from household chemicals and guns from metal pipes. "They are children," one of his soldiers said with horror. "They are sending children to fight us." "Not children," Vexton replied grimly. "Warriors, they are all warriors." The young humans fought with the same determination as adult soldiers. They used the same tactics. They showed the same willingness to die for their cause. It was as if the entire species had become a military force. "How can they coordinate so well?" Sergeant Kalanara asked. "They have no central command, no advanced communication systems. But they fight as if they share one mind." Lieutenant Vexton had been wondering the same thing. The humans seemed to know what other human groups were doing, even when they were separated by great distances. They could adapt their tactics based on what was happening in other battles. "They are using captured communication equipment," Vexton realized. "They are learning to use our own systems to talk to each other." This was the most disturbing discovery yet. The humans were not just using captured weapons. They were using captured technology to coordinate their entire defense. They were turning the hegemony's own advantages against them. "Lieutenant," one of his soldiers called out, "we have a problem." "What is it?" "The humans have vehicles. But they are not human vehicles. They are ours." Vexton looked where the soldier was pointing. A group of human fighters was approaching in modified hegemony transport vehicles. The vehicles had been painted with human markings and equipped with human weapons. But they were definitely alien technology. "How did they get those vehicles?" Vexton asked. "They must have captured them from other landing zones," the soldier replied. "But look at the modifications. They have changed the weapon systems. They have added armor plating. They have made them better than they were before." This was impossible. The humans had only been fighting for a few hours. They should not have been able to understand alien technology well enough to modify it. But the evidence was right in front of them. The human vehicles attacked with precision and skill. The drivers knew exactly how to use the alien systems. The gunners were accurate and deadly. They moved with the confidence of experienced soldiers, not primitive savages. "Fall back," Vexton ordered. "We need support." But support was not coming. Every hegemony unit on the planet was facing the same problems. The humans were everywhere. They were using captured technology with increasing skill. They were coordinating their attacks across the entire planet. "Commander," Major Kelthara reported to the flagship, "we need to change our strategy. The humans are not fighting like primitives. They are fighting like us." "What do you mean?" Vexlon asked. "They are using advanced tactics. They are adapting to our strategies faster than we can adapt to theirs. They are learning from every battle and sharing that knowledge with other human forces." "How can they learn so fast?" "I do not know. But they are not just copying our technology. They are improving it. They are making it work better than it did before." Commander Vexlon looked at the casualty reports. In 6 hours of fighting, the hegemony had lost more soldiers than in the previous 10 years of warfare. The humans were supposed to be defeated. By now, instead, they were getting stronger. "What do you recommend?" Vexlon asked. "We need more troops," Major Kelthara replied. "Many more troops, and we need to change our approach. These humans are not like any enemy we have faced before." For the first time since the invasion began, Commander Vexlon felt a cold touch of fear. The humans were supposed to be primitive. They were supposed to be easy to defeat. But they were proving to be something else entirely. They were proving to be dangerous. As night fell on Earth, the battle continued. The humans fought by the light of burning cities and alien energy weapons. They showed no signs of surrender. They showed no signs of fear. They were just getting started. 3 days had passed since the invasion began. Commander Thexlon stood on his bridge, staring at reports that made no sense. His massive fleet was supposed to have conquered Earth by now. Instead, half of his ships were damaged or destroyed. His ground forces were trapped in brutal fighting across the planet. And the humans were doing something impossible. They were winning. Commander, First Officer Catherine approached with another datapad. Her green skin looked pale, and her forearms moved nervously. The latest casualty reports from the surface. Thexlon took the pad and read the numbers. In 3 days, the hegemony had lost more soldiers than in the last century of warfare. The humans were supposed to be primitives. They were supposed to surrender after seeing superior technology. Instead, they were fighting harder than any enemy the hegemony had ever faced. What about our reinforcements? Thexlon asked. The second wave of landing craft was destroyed before reaching the surface, Catherine replied. The humans are using our own weapons against us. They have learned to operate our anti-aircraft systems. How is that possible? We do not know. But they are not just using our weapons. They are improving them, making them more effective than they were originally. This was the most disturbing part of the whole situation. The humans were not just copying alien technology, they were making it better. They were finding ways to use hegemony systems that even the hegemony had not discovered. Sir, Communications Officer Zelandra called out. We are receiving a transmission from the human planet. Put it through, Thexlon ordered, the bridge filled with the voice of Admiral Chun, the human commander. His words were translated into hegemony standard, but his tone was clear even through the translation. He was not afraid. Commander Thexlon, Admiral Chun said, I told you what would happen if you invaded our world. You wanted to see what humans do when we are threatened. Now you know. You have fought bravely, Thexlon replied, but you cannot win. My fleet is still larger than all your forces combined. Your fleet was larger, Admiral Chun corrected. But that was 3 days ago. Things have changed. Before Thexlon could ask what that meant, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. The tactical displays lit up with warning signals. Something was approaching the fleet from behind. Report, Thexlon commanded. Ships approaching from the outer system, Sensor Officer Helenara announced. But they are not coming from Earth. Where are they coming from? From ... everywhere. They are coming from all directions. From the asteroid belt, from the outer planets, from behind the moon. There are hundreds of them. The main display showed what the sensors were detecting. Human ships were appearing throughout the solar system. But these were not the primitive chemical rockets that the hegemony had been fighting. These ships moved with the smooth grace of faster-than-light travel. That is impossible, Thexlon said. Humans do not have faster-than-light technology. They do now, Admiral Chun's voice came through the speakers. Thank you for bringing it to us. We have learned much from your ships. The human vessels were clearly built from captured hegemony technology, but they were different from the original designs. They were smaller, faster, and more maneuverable. They had been modified with human engineering and human tactics in mind. How many ships? Thexlon asked. Over 300 confirmed, Helenara replied, but more are appearing every minute. They are using some kind of stealth technology. Stealth technology? We never gave them stealth technology. No, sir, but they developed it themselves. They are combining our systems with their own innovations. The human fleet moved with precision and coordination. They did not attack randomly like primitive warriors. They moved in formation, using advanced tactics that rivaled the best hegemony strategies. They are surrounding us, Catherine observed. They are trying to trap our fleet. All ships, battle stations, Thexlon ordered. Prepare for combat. But the humans were not ready to fight yet. Instead, they began doing something that confused the hegemony commanders. They started talking. Hegemony vessels, Admiral Chun announced. You have invaded our home system and attacked our people. You have killed our civilians and destroyed our cities. But we are not like you. We do not enjoy killing. We will give. You one chance to surrender, the bridge crew began laughing. The idea of humans demanding surrender from the mighty hegemony fleet was absurd. Even with their captured technology, the humans were still outnumbered. Admiral Chun, the Ixalan replied. You have 300 ships. I have 700. Your vessels are crude copies of our technology. Mine are the original designs. You cannot defeat us. We will see, Admiral Chun said simply. The human attack began without warning. Instead of the frontal assault that the hegemony expected, the humans used tactics that no galactic species had ever attempted. They attacked from multiple directions at once. They used the solar system's own features as weapons. Human ships hiding in the asteroid belt launched rocks at incredible speeds. The asteroids had been fitted with human engines and guidance systems. They struck hegemony vessels with the force of nuclear weapons. Other human ships used the planet's gravity to accelerate their attacks. They would swing around Earth or the Moon, building up speed before launching their weapons. The hegemony ships could not predict where the attacks would come from. They are using the entire solar system as a weapon, Weapons Officer Mordash reported with amazement. They have turned planets and moons into tactical advantages. But the most shocking part of the human attack was how they used captured hegemony technology. They had not just copied the alien systems. They had improved them and combined them in ways that made them more effective. Their weapons are more powerful than ours, Mordash continued. They have found ways to increase the energy output of our own designs. How is that possible? Dexlon demanded. I do not know, but they are using our technology better than we are. The battle raged for hours. The hegemony fleet had superior numbers and better armor, but the humans had superior tactics and better knowledge of the battlefield. They knew exactly where to strike to cause maximum damage. Commander, Major Kelthara's voice came from the planet's surface. The humans are launching a ground counterattack. They are using vehicles we have never seen before. What kind of vehicles? Tanks and aircraft built from our technology, but they are different, faster, more heavily armed. They are moving with perfect coordination. The human counterattack on the ground was as devastating as their space assault. The humans had spent 3 days learning how to use alien technology. Now, they were putting that knowledge to use. They attacked hegemony ground forces with weapons that combined the best of both technologies. Human tactics and alien firepower. Human knowledge of the terrain and alien mobility systems. They are pushing us back, Major Kelthara reported. We are losing ground across all fronts. How can they coordinate so well? Dexlon asked. They have no central command system. They do now, the Major replied. They are using our own communication networks, but they have modified them. They can share information instantly across the entire planet. This was the key to human success. They were not just individuals fighting separately. They were acting as one unified force. Every human soldier knew what every other human soldier was doing. They could adapt their tactics instantly based on what was happening anywhere in the battle. Sir, Sensor Officer Helenara called out urgently, we have a bigger problem. The humans are not just attacking us here. What do you mean? They are sending ships outside the solar system. They are using faster-than-light travel to reach other star systems. The tactical display showed human vessels leaving the Sol system and traveling toward nearby hegemony colonies. The humans were not just defending their home anymore. They were taking the fight to the enemy. They are attacking our supply lines, Catherine realized. They are striking at our bases and colonies. With what forces? Dexlon asked. Small groups of ships, but they are hitting multiple targets simultaneously. Our colonies are not prepared for this kind of attack. The reports began coming in from throughout hegemony space. Human ships were appearing at military bases, supply depots, and communication centers. They were not trying to conquer these places. They were destroying them and leaving. They are using hit-and-run tactics on a galactic scale, Catherine observed. They strike fast and disappear before our reinforcements can arrive. How do they know where our bases are? Dexlon demanded. They learn from our captured ships, Helenara replied. They downloaded our navigation data and tactical information. They know the location of every hegemony installation in this sector. This was a disaster. The humans were not just fighting a defensive war. They were conducting offensive operations across multiple star systems. They were using the hegemony's own technology and information against them. Commander, Admiral Qian's voice came through the speakers again. You wanted to punish us for defending ourselves. You wanted to show the galaxy what happens when someone fights the hegemony. Well, you have succeeded. You have shown us exactly what we need to do. What do you mean? Vexlon asked. You have taught us about the galaxy. You have shown us your technology and your tactics. You have given us the tools we need to protect ourselves. And you have shown us that the hegemony is not as strong as it pretends to be. The human attacks intensified. They were no longer just defending Earth. They were systematically dismantling the hegemony's military presence in the region. Every base, every ship, every installation was a target. Sir, Lieutenant Vexton's voice came from the surface. The humans are doing something new. They are building factories. Military factories? They are producing weapons and ships faster? Then we can destroy them. How fast? Faster than our own industrial capacity? They are building 10 ships for every one we destroy. They are making weapons and equipment at a rate we cannot match. This was impossible. Industrial capacity took decades to build. The humans should not have been able to create a military-industrial complex in just days, but they were doing it anyway. They are using our technology to build their factories, Vexton continued, but they are improving the designs, making them more efficient. They are producing better equipment than we have. Commander, Catherine said quietly, we need to request reinforcements, a lot of reinforcements. From where? Vexlon asked. Half the hegemony fleet is already here, and the humans are attacking our other bases. Then we need to consider withdrawal. The word hung in the air, like a curse. The hegemony had never retreated from a primitive world. They had never been defeated by a species that had not even achieved faster-than-light travel when the war began. Sir, Communications Officer Zalandra announced, we are receiving a priority message from Hegemony High Command. Put it through, the voice of Fleet Admiral Zethkal filled the bridge. He was the highest-ranking military officer in the hegemony, and he sounded worried. Commander Vexlon, what is your situation? We are encountering stronger resistance than expected, Vexlon replied carefully. Stronger resistance? Commander, we have lost contact with 12 military bases in your sector. Our colonies are reporting attacks by unknown vessels. What exactly is happening there? Vexlon looked around his bridge at the faces of his officers. They were all looking at him, waiting for his response. How could he explain that a primitive species had learned to use their own technology better than they could? The humans are more capable than our intelligence indicated, Vexlon said finally. How much more capable? They have achieved faster-than-light travel. They have reverse-engineered our weapons and improved them. They are conducting offensive operations across multiple star systems, and they are building a military force that matches our own. There was a long silence from High Command. Finally, Fleet Admiral Zethkal spoke again. Commander, you are telling me that a primitive species has become a galactic military power in less than a week? Yes, sir. That is exactly what I am telling you. Another long silence. Then, hold your position. Commander, do not engage in any major operations until reinforcements arrive. We are assembling the largest fleet in hegemony history. How large? Every ship we have? Every soldier we can spare? If these humans are as dangerous as you say, then we need to deal with them before they become stronger. The transmission ended. Vexlon looked at his officers. They were all thinking the same thing. The humans had already become stronger, and they were learning faster than anyone thought possible. Sir, Sensor Officer Helenara said quietly, the human ships are withdrawing. They are not pressing their attack. Why? Vexlon asked. I think they have accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, Catherine replied. They have shown us that they can fight us. They have shown us that they can learn from us. And they have shown us that they can take the fight to our territory. What are they doing now? Building, Halinara replied. They are building ships, weapons and bases throughout their solar system. They are preparing for the next phase of the war. Commander Thexlon looked out at the human planet Earth. It was still blue and green and beautiful, but now it was also something else. It was dangerous. It was the home of a species that had just changed the balance of power in the galaxy, and they were just getting started. The great station Nexus Prime had never seen such chaos. Emergency meetings were happening in every corridor. Representatives from 12 different species rushed between conference rooms, carrying reports that seemed impossible to believe. The humans, the primitive species that was supposed to be conquered easily, had done something that changed everything. Council Speaker Veltara stood in her private chamber, her crystalline body glowing with stress patterns that her species had not shown in centuries. The reports scattered across her desk told a story that defied all understanding of galactic politics and warfare. In just 2 weeks, the humans had destroyed 2 entire hegemony fleets. They had attacked military bases across 6 star systems. They had developed technology that surpassed anything the galaxy had seen before. And they were building a military force that grew stronger every day. Speaker Veltara, her assistant announced. Ambassador Zethkar has arrived for the emergency session. Send him in. Zethkar entered the chamber, but he was not the confident leader who had demanded war against the humans. His forearms hung limply at his sides. His blue skin had faded to a sickly gray color. He moved like someone who had seen his entire world collapse. Ambassador, Veltara said gently, please sit down. Tell me what has happened. Zethkar collapsed into a chair designed for his species. For a long moment he said nothing. Then in a voice barely above a whisper, he began to speak. They are not what we thought they were, he said. The humans, they are not primitive. They are not weak. They are something we have never encountered before. What do you mean? They learn, Speaker. They learn faster than any species in galactic history. In 2 weeks, they have mastered technology that took us centuries to develop, but they did not just copy it, they improved it. They made it better than the original. Veltara had read the reports, but hearing it from Zethkar made it more real. How is that possible? We do not know. But they do not just learn technology, they learn tactics, they learn strategy. Every battle teaches them something new. Every defeat makes them stronger. What about your reinforcements? Fleet Admiral Zethkal assembled the largest military force in hegemony history. Zethkar's eyes filled with a emotion that Veltara had never seen in a hegemony leader before. Fear, pure, desperate fear. Gone, he whispered, all of them. The humans did not just defeat the Second Fleet. They destroyed it completely. Then they used the wreckage to build more ships. Better ships. How many ships do they have now? We do not know. They are building faster than we can count. Their entire solar system has become a military construction zone. Every planet, every moon, every asteroid is being turned into a weapon. Or a factory. The door chimed, and more council members entered. Representative Morthak of the Trilaxian Union looked worried. The Kethleni delegate was clicking his mandibles nervously. Even the usually calm Velthari ambassador seemed agitated. We need to begin the session, Veltara announced. This situation affects all of us. They moved to the main council chamber, where the emergency session was already in progress. The hall was filled with representatives, military advisors, and intelligence officers. Everyone was talking at once, trying to understand what was happening. Order, Veltara called out. We will hear the latest reports in an organized manner. Intelligence Officer Kelvana of the Korthax stepped forward. Her species was known for their analytical abilities, and she had been studying the human situation since the first attacks. Honored Council, she began, the humans have achieved something that we previously thought impossible. They have become a galactic military power in less than 3 weeks. Explain, Representative Morthak demanded. They have developed faster-than-light travel that is superior to our own? Their ships are faster and more maneuverable than anything in our fleets. They have created weapons that are more powerful than our most advanced systems. But how? Asked the Zephyrian delegate. Technology advancement takes decades or centuries. The humans appear to have a unique ability to collaborate and share knowledge instantly across their entire species. When one human learns something, all humans learn. They do not compete with each other for information. They share everything. This was a concept that most galactic species could not understand. Every civilization had different groups, different nations, different factions that competed for resources and knowledge. But the humans had unified completely in the face of external threat. There is more, Calvana continued. They are not just defending their home system anymore. They are conducting offensive operations across hegemony space. They have attacked 17 military installations in the past week alone. The council chamber erupted in worried voices. If the humans were attacking hegemony bases, they might attack other species' territories as well. What are their objectives? Veltara asked. Unknown, but their attacks are not random. They are systematically targeting communication centers, supply depots, and command structures. They are not trying to conquer territory. They are trying to cripple the hegemony's ability to wage war. Are they succeeding? Yes, the hegemony has lost the ability to coordinate military operations across 3 sectors. Their supply lines are in chaos. Their colonies are requesting emergency protection that the hegemony cannot provide. Ambassador Zethkar stood up slowly. May I speak? Of course, Veltara replied. I have been in contact with our highest military commanders. They are telling me something that I find hard to believe. The humans are not just winning this war. They are changing the nature of warfare itself. What do you mean? They do not fight like civilized species. They do not follow the established rules of galactic conflict. They use every advantage they can find. They turn civilian infrastructure into military assets. They use their entire population as a military force. That is barbaric, protested Representative Haskell of the Merchant Federation. Perhaps, Zethkar replied, but it is effective. They have shown that the way we have fought wars for millennia is outdated. They have proven that a united species can defeat a divided empire. What do you recommend? Veltara asked. Peace, Zethkar said simply. We need to make peace with the humans before they become even stronger. Peace with primitives? Representative Morthak scoffed. The hegemony has never surrendered to a lesser species. The humans are not lesser, Zethkar replied firmly. They are superior. They are better at war than we are. They are better at technology than we are. They are better at cooperation than we are. Before anyone could respond, alarms began sounding. Throughout the station, the lights flickered and emergency announcements echoed through the corridors. Alert! Unknown ships approaching Nexus Prime. Alert! Unknown ships approaching Nexus Prime. The council members rushed to the observation windows. In the distance, they could see ships approaching the station. But these were not the sleek vessels of any known galactic species. These ships were different. They were clearly built from multiple technologies, combining the best features of different designs. Are those human ships? Representative Morthak asked. Yes, Calvana confirmed, checking her instruments. But they are not attacking. They are requesting permission to communicate. Put them through, Veltara ordered. The main display activated, showing the bridge of the lead human ship. A young woman in a simple uniform appeared on the screen. She looked calm and confident, not at all like someone from a primitive species. Greetings, Galactic Council, she said in perfect galactic standard. I am Dr. Sarah Chon, representing the United Earth Defense Force. I have been authorized to speak on behalf of humanity. The council members stared in shock. Not only were the humans at their most secure location, but they had learned to speak their language perfectly. How did you find this station? Veltara asked. We learned the location from captured hegemony databases, Dr. Chun replied. We have been monitoring your communications for several days. We know about this emergency session. You have been spying on us? We have been learning about you. Dr. Chun corrected, just as you have been learning about us. The difference is that we learn faster. What do you want? Ambassador Zethkar asked. To end this war, Dr. Chun replied, but not through surrender. Through understanding. Understanding of what? You made a fundamental error in your assessment of humanity. You thought we were divided because we sometimes fight among ourselves. You did not understand that conflict is how we learn, how we grow, how we become stronger. She paused, letting her words sink in. Every war we have fought has taught us something new. Every enemy we have faced has made us better. You gave us the greatest gift possible. A common enemy and advanced technology? To study. What are you saying? Veltara asked. We are saying that the invasion of Earth was not just an attack on our world. It was an education. You taught us about the galaxy. You showed us your technology. You revealed your weaknesses. And you united our species in a way that nothing else could have. The council chamber was silent. The implications of Dr. Chun's words were becoming clear. The humans had not just survived the invasion. They had used it to become something new. What do you want from us? Veltara asked. Recognition, Dr. Chun replied. We want to be acknowledged as a galactic species, with full rights and privileges. We want to end this war and begin peaceful relations with all civilized worlds. And if we refuse, then the war continues. But understand this, we are not the same species that you first encountered. We have learned from you, we have adapted to your technology. We have unified our people. And we are building a military force that grows stronger every day. Are you threatening us? No, Dr. Chun said calmly. We are informing you. The humans you thought you could easily conquer no longer exist. We have evolved. We have become something new. Something that can stand as equals in the galactic community. Or as rulers, Representative Morthok said quietly. We do not want to rule, Dr. Chun replied. We want to belong. We want to be part of the galactic community, but we will not be conquered. We will not be destroyed. And we will not be ignored. The display showed more human ships arriving. Dozens of them, all built with technology that surpassed anything in the galactic fleet. They were not threatening the station, but their message was clear. The humans had the power to destroy anyone who opposed them. Council Speaker, Dr. Chun said, we offer you a choice. Accept us as equals, and we will share our innovations with the galaxy. We will help improve technology and cooperation between species. We will be partners in building a better future. And if we do not accept, then we will continue to defend ourselves. We will continue to grow stronger. We will continue to learn from every species that challenges us. And eventually, we will surpass all of you. The council members looked at each other. They had called this meeting to decide how to deal with the human threat. But the humans had already decided for them. We need time to consider, Veltara sighed. Of course, Dr. Chun replied. But understand that time is not on your side. Every day we exist, we become stronger. Every day we learn, we become more advanced. The choice you make today will determine the future of the galaxy. The human ships began to withdraw, but not before Dr. Chun spoke one final time. Members of the Galactic Council, you asked what happens when you invade Earth. Now you know. You do not conquer humanity. Humanity conquers you. Not through force, but through evolution. We become better than you thought possible. The transmission ended. The council chamber was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, the representatives began to discuss what they had witnessed. They are right, Zethkar said finally. We cannot defeat them. They learn from every attack. They grow stronger with every battle. If we continue this war, they will eventually surpass us completely. What do you propose? Veltara asked. We vote, Zethkar replied. We vote to accept them as equals. We vote to end this war before it destroys us all. All in favor? One by one, the representatives raised their hands. The Velthari voted yes, the Korthax voted yes, the Zephyrians voted yes. Even the proud Trilexians voted yes. The vote is unanimous, Veltara announced. The Galactic Council hereby recognizes the human species as a full member of the galactic community, with all rights and privileges thereof. The decision was transmitted immediately to human ships throughout the galaxy. The response came from Admiral Chun himself, speaking from his flagship in Earth orbit. Thank you, Council Speaker. Humanity accepts membership in the galactic community. We look forward to working with all species to build a better future. What are your intentions now? Veltara asked. We will continue to defend our territory. We will continue to develop our technology. We will continue to explore the galaxy. But we will do so as partners, not as conquerors. And the war with the hegemony? Over, Admiral Chun replied. We bear no grudge against the hegemony people. They were following their leader's orders. But let this be a lesson to all species in the galaxy. Humanity is not to be underestimated. We are not to be conquered, and we are not to be ignored. The transmission ended. The council members sat in stunned silence. In just 3 weeks, the balance of power in the galaxy had changed forever. The humans had gone from a primitive species to a galactic superpower. What have we done? Representative Morthok asked quietly. We have witnessed the birth of a new era, Veltara replied. The humans have shown us that cooperation is stronger than competition, that unity is more powerful than division, that learning is more valuable than conquest. They will change everything, Calvana observed. Yes, Veltara agreed. And perhaps that is what the galaxy needs. Perhaps we have been doing things wrong for too long. Perhaps it is time to learn from humanity instead of trying to conquer them. The meeting ended, but the real work was just beginning. The galaxy would never be the same. The humans had not just won a war. They had shown every species what was possible when an entire civilization worked together toward a common goal. The age of human expansion was about to begin, and the galaxy would learn what it meant to have humanity as neighbors, partners, and eventually leaders. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if welcoming their newest and most dangerous children.